Tonight, how could Oscar Pistorius not have realised he was about to kill his girlfriend?
You knew that Reeva was behind the door, and you shot at her.
The athlete insists she didn't shout out.
I wish she let me know she was there. She did not do that.
She wasn't scared of anything, except you.
Good evening from the courtroom in Pretoria, where Oscar Pistorius has faced another gruelling day of cross-examination. The athlete's been questioned about the moment that he shot through this toilet door, killing Reeva Steenkamp. Jeremy Thompson said it was beyond belief that she would have remained silent, and he must have known that she was there behind this door. Lisa Holland reports on another dramatic day in court.
Oscar Pistorius has spent nearly a week in the witness box. It ended with a blistering finale by the prosecution. But the day began with the prosecutor having to clarify evidence from yesterday. He had criticised the athlete for using the courtroom to apologise to Reeva Steenkamp's mother and her family, instead of talking to them in private.
That after the adjournment yesterday, she informed me through her advocate that Mr. Pistorius did in fact request a meeting with the Steenkamp family prior to the trial, but they were not ready for such a meeting. And I'm putting that on record.
Thank you very much. So it's confirmation of what Mr. Pistorius
said. Mr. Pistorius said that yesterday, and Mrs. Steenkamp felt that it was important that we put it on record. I didn't know about that before yesterday.
Thank you for letting us know.
Jeremy Thompson questioned the Olympian about his belief that crime isn't properly investigated in South Africa. Oscar Pistorius said he had been a victim of crime on several occasions, but the prosecutor wanted to know why he had never reported it.
Why did you not do that if you've been exposed to crime before?
My lady, if we can go through the list of the crimes that I've been exposed to, the housebreakings. When I got back to South Africa, as I said, the housebreaking was a week or more earlier. There was a TV missing. I didn't think that anything could be done about it. I didn't have insurance at the time. There was no reason for me to open up or to go to a police station and report the crime. When I was shot at on the highway, I didn't want to go to the police station. I didn't think they'd be able to do anything about it.
I'm sure you agree with that. If somebody shoots at you on a highway, that's a very serious incident.
I agree, my lady.
One could die.
That's correct, my lady.
And I've already asked the question, so I have to ask a different question. Why did you not report it to the police?
My lady, I don't see what the police could have possibly done about it.
Why do you say that? Police investigate cases. They can find things out, but you didn't trust them.
That's correct, my lady. I didn't have the trust in them to find out what. I don't think they would have given it the attention.
After allegedly being shot at, Oscar Pistorius says he couldn't remember who came to pick him up, prompting the prosecutor to suggest he had made the episode up.
It is so improbable that you wouldn't remember who you phoned. And it's so improbable that in consultation you wouldn't have been asked the same question. For your counsel to find out who you phoned.
I don't know who I phoned, my lady. My counsel did ask me and I told them I don't know.
It's because it never happened. You don't want anybody to check up. That's the only reason why you would forget who picked you up that night that somebody almost shot you.
That's not true, my lady.
It's the one night that somebody almost shot you, am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
And you can remember raps. You remember exactly where you turned left, where you turned right, and how you got to Rhapsody. Exactly.
That's correct, my lady.
But you do not remember who you phoned. That doesn't make sense.
That's correct, my lady.
No, it doesn't make sense. You don't want anybody to be able to check up on this.
The prosecutor leapt on what he said was a discrepancy in Oscar Pistorius' evidence over the alarm system at his Pretoria home.
This is now the biggest indication of you tailoring evidence. You cannot have made that mistake. It's impossible to do.
May Mr. Nell please read the context in which I
I'm
said
reading
that.
nothing. I'm asking you, why did you make the mistake, sir?
I didn't make the mistake, my lady.
You cannot explain the mistake in the way that you're doing. You're tailoring your evidence. You could not have made that mistake.
My lady, my understanding is that they're two different incidents.
You see, Mr. Pistorius, I'm going to take you up on this answer, but I'm coming back because you're getting deeper into trouble.
The athlete was asked whether he had switched off the alarm after the shooting, then contradicted himself.
We get lots of mistakes this morning, Mr. Pistorius.
I'm tired, my lady. I'm sorry if I got the wrong word. I meant I must have turned my alarm off. It makes sense to me that I switched it off. Nobody else could have switched it off. It didn't go off when I ran through the house. It didn't go off at a later stage. It can only make sense to me that I switched it off.
You see, your answer now puts me in a predicament. Are you too tired to continue? Because I don't want a response again today that I'm tired and therefore I made a mistake. So I want you to please tell the court, if you're tired and you want time, we will discuss it with your legal team.
My lady, it's not that I want time. It's that I'm tired. I'm going to be tired. I don't need time. I am tired. It's not going to change. I understand the predicament that Mr. Null's in. I just ask that he bears with me. I've made a mistake. I've admitted to making a mistake.
With respect, Mr. Pistorius, and I'm just saying that I'm not convinced about your answer now. I think that you're trying to cover up for lies. And I'm not convinced. So,
Just before you proceed, Mr. Pistorius, it's important that you should be all here when you are in that witness box. You understand that?
I do, my lady.
So if you are tired and the reason you're making all these mistakes is because you're tired, you must say so.
My lady,
It doesn't help to say it's not going to change.
I understand, my lady. I am tired, my lady, but I made a mistake with the way I answered the question.
And the question is, are you too tired to proceed?
No, my lady.
Because you can be at a disadvantage when you are in that box.
I understand.
You understand that?
Yes, my lady.
Yes, it can't be fair to you. And it's not fair to this court either.
I understand, my lady.
Can we accept that you haven't made this mistake because you're tired? Can we accept that?
I can accept that, my lady.
No, can we accept that?
Yes, my lady.
The runner said he'd put his prosthetic legs near the bedroom sliding doors to air, but Mr. Nell said that meant they'd be in the way of his route to the balcony, where he says he screamed for help.
are you getting emotional?
Yes, I'm very emotional, my lady.
Why?
Because it's a difficult time for me to remember.
But why would this question make you emotional?
Because this is a night I lost the person that I cared about. I don't know how people don't understand that.
But after 3 days of relentless cross-examination for Oscar Pistorius, the prosecutor, known in South African circles as the Pitbull, got this warning from the judge.
Please, Mr. Nell,
Yes, ma'am.
mind your language.
What did I say, my lady?
You don't call a witness a liar, not while he's in the witness box.
As appropriate.
But there was no let-up in Harry Nell's determination to destroy Oscar Pistorius' version of events. He took the athlete back to the night of Reeva Steenkamp's death. They were in the bedroom, awake, when Oscar Pistorius says he heard the bathroom window slide open.
I told Reeva to get down to phone the police.
How did you tell her?
I whispered it to her, my lady. I said it in a soft tone.
Now, did you look at her when you said that?
No, my lady. From the time that I left the amplifier to the time I got my firearm, I tried not to get my eyes off the passage.
I see. Now, when you heard the noise, you never discussed the noise with her?
I did not discuss the noise with her, my lady.
You said, Reeva, did you hear that?
I didn't say that, my lady.
I asked, did you say that?
I did not, my lady.
Why not? She's awake.
I was not confused about what I'd heard, my lady.
You shouldn't be confused, but did you not check with her? If you cared about Reeva, you would have made sure that she hears you, that she's there. You didn't.
I was sure that she was there, my lady, because I had spoken to her shortly before when I got out of bed. Just before I got out of bed, she spoke to me. So at that time, I thought she was in the bed. I spoke to Reeva and I said to her, get down, call the police.
I say, Mr. Pistorius, a reasonable person would have looked where Reeva was. Look, if she was safe and if she panicked. But you didn't. You just grabbed a gun.
Welcome back. The state prosecutor continued his fierce grilling of Oscar Pistorius about the moment he shot and killed his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp beside this toilet door. He was asked what was going through his mind, why he grabbed his gun, released the safety catch and headed towards the bathroom after he said he'd heard a noise.
I was never ready to shoot, my lady. At any point was I ready to shoot. I was trying to see what was happening in my home.
But why would you go if you're not... Why would you arm yourself, rush towards the danger, but you're not ready to shoot? That's not true. Not on your version even.
My lady, I didn't have time to think. I was dealt with a situation in which I had to protect Reeva and I had to protect myself.
It's not that easy. You cannot tell the court I didn't think. You armed yourself and I'm sure you released the safety switch, the safety mechanism on your gun.
That's correct, my lady.
You're vulnerable, but you go towards the danger.
That's correct, my lady.
Why would you do that?
Because if I'd stayed where I was, my lady, Reeva and I would be in danger.
No, nobody would have been in danger because there was no intruder. If you stayed in that room, Reeva would have been alive.
Somebody could have shot Reeva. If they came in my room and they sprayed mace in my room, something could have happened. I wanted to put as much distance as I could between Reeva and what I perceived to be the danger.
Reeva is the one person that you didn't even talk to. If you remained in the bedroom, you had a clear view of the passage. Somebody coming out of the bathroom had to walk at least 5 meters to get to you. Instinct would have made sure Reeva is safe.
My lady, I think everybody's instinct is different. That's why it's instinct, my lady. I had thought that she was safe, and in the process of what I did, I was thinking that I was making it safer for her.
You and Reeva could have gone out the main bedroom door.
We could have, my lady.
Why did you not do that?
I'm not sure, my lady. It's very easy to now look back and talk about all the possibilities, but that is not what happened.
Your whole version is to explain why you got to the bathroom innocently. That's why the one major issue of the bedroom door you cannot explain.
My lady, if you'd listened to Mrs. Taylor's evidence where she said that when there was an intruder, I went downstairs and I looked. That's my personality, my lady. That's how I am. So instead of cowering and running away, at that split moment, I wanted to put myself between the danger.
That's me, Oscar. I want to go confront them.
That's correct.
Stand up for myself.
That's correct, my lady.
If I see them, I'll shoot them.
That's not what I said. I was shouting and I was screaming, and they were very loud. I was shouting at the people to get out.
Then you got to the entrance to the bathroom.
That's correct, my lady.
And you kept quiet.
I didn't want to give my position away. I was scared that the person was around the corner. I had my firearm in front of me.
This wasn't split second.
Everything about that event was split decision, my lady. Every moment there was a difference in something that could have happened. A different situation. Somebody could have attacked me with a firearm, or they could have just ran up to me and choked me, my lady.
That's why it doesn't make sense that you approach them. It's a lie.
It's incorrect, my lady.
When did you hear a door shut?
That was when I was in the passage, my lady, just before I entered the bathroom. I thought that there was either somebody going into the toilet or that somebody had kicked the door, because the door opens up.
Was it strange that it was closed, or did that not make a difference?
It wasn't strange at all, my lady. I'd heard it slam closed. So
You either heard somebody kick it or slam it closed.
I never ever said I heard somebody kick the door, my lady. I said I heard the door slam closed.
You said It's one or two things. Either it was slammed closed or somebody kicked the door.
In them fleeing the house, that's correct. I'm sorry, my lady. I made a mistake, my lady.
No, there can't be a mistake. It must be, I'm thinking of something that never happened, and I have to keep up. That's it. Your version never happened, and you have to keep up with an untruth. It's not the mistake. It's you saying, I never, ever said somebody kicked the door. That is, for me, that's what it's about. Not the fact that you made a mistake, that you were so convinced that you never said it.
I understand, my
As
lady.
convinced as you are about the rest of your evidence. That is my problem. I'm putting it to you that your mistakes are as convincing as your evidence in the way you deliver it. It's improbable that you would even think that an intruder would run into my toilet and lock the door.
I had to consider that there was someone in the toilet or that there was somebody on the ladder.
Reeva at that stage is 3 meters away from you in a toilet, and she never uttered a word.
That's correct, my lady.
It's not it's not probable. She would be scared, she would shout out and talk to you. You're in the same room.
My lady, I agree with Mr. Null. She would have been terrified, my lady. I was shouting and I was approaching the toilet. And she was I was approaching the bathroom and she was in the toilet. Then I'd presume that she would think that the danger's coming closer to her. So why would she shout out?
Because you're in the room, sir. Mr. Pistorius, you're now in the room, you're shouting. She's 3 meters away from you behind that particular door. There is no way that you'll convince a court that she stood there saying nothing. She was standing right in front of the toilet door talking to you when you shot.
It's not true.
That's the only reasonable explanation for her standing upright. That's the only reasonable explanation why you shot her in the head, where you did.
It's not true, my lady.
She wasn't scared of anything, except you. She wasn't scared of an intruder. She was scared of you. If your version is true, she would not have been in front of that door, facing you.
As I said, my lady, I don't think anybody could say where she would have stood if she was thinking that I was. In her mind, it must have been that I was retreating to the bathroom. In her mind, I must have been retreating, screaming for her. Reeva phone the police.
Why would she
screaming
think
for the people to get out? If she was in the toilet, then she would have been quiet. I don't see why she would have screamed out.
If she thought you're retreating, that gives her more reason to talk, to say, "You're coming to me. Come, I'll phone the police."
My lady Reeva had been involved in a similar incident before in her life where she locked herself away. From my understanding, that she wasn't able to speak to people for a day or so afterward, my lady. So I don't think that is the case.
Are you sure, Mr. Pistorius, that Reeva did not scream after the first shot?
My lady, at no point did Reeva shout out or scream. I wish she let me know she was there. She did not do that.
You see, just listen to my question. After you fired the first shot, did she scream?
No, my lady.
Are you sure?
Yes, my lady.
Would you have heard her?
I don't think I would have heard it.
Exactly.
There was a gunshot that went off, my lady. My ears were ringing.
That's why I'm asking you the question. How can you exclude the fact that she was screaming if you couldn't hear? People heard a woman scream during the shots. Is that possible?
No, that's not possible.
Why?
Because a woman didn't scream at any point.
No, you can't say that.
I cannot say no one screamed during the shots. I can say no one screamed. My lady, there weren't women screaming. There wasn't a woman screaming.
Well,
Or shouting.
how can you say that? Aren't you making a mistake again? The mistake is you forgot about your ears ringing.
I'm not talking about the shooting, my lady. I'm talking about the entire evening.
No, I'm talking about the shooting. You can't get away with that every time that you don't know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you have to take responsibility. In fact, you knew that Reeva was behind the door and you shot at her. That is the only thing that makes sense.
So a dramatic end to a dramatic week. Oscar Pistorius has spent 5 days in the witness box here. And he's got more to come. Now a 2.5-day break as he waits and wonders what Mr Nelly's going to throw at him on Monday. Well, joining me now, Alex Crawford, our correspondent in court, and Delia de Vries, who's a local attorney. Welcome to you both. Alex, we've certainly seen the contrasting sides of his character.
Kerry Nell has made a lot during his cross-examination. It's mostly been centred. Even today there were hints of it as well, that Oscar Pistorius, in his view, is a very narcissistic personality, and that even when he's been giving evidence, he pointed out today that he didn't consider how Reeva Steenkamp would have been feeling inside that very confined space when 4 bullets came firing through the door. He was more concerned with how upset he was, how frightened he was, how overwhelmed with fear he was as he headed out towards that toilet door. And I think that has been really riling Oscar Pistorius. However, I thought he did pretty well today, despite the mistakes and despite the rowing back, and he seemed to be emotionally much stronger than he has been in the previous days.
Delia, I wonder where you feel this trial stands at the end of this, perhaps the most dramatic week of all. Are we getting to the very crux of this case?
We're getting to a very pinpoint cross-examination over here, and it's Gerry's job to get concessions out of Oscar, which he's been making at regular intervals. But it's taking him back to the scene every so often, and more so, to me, is an indication that he's honing in on what the real issue is over here and leaving the other issues that he's been charged with to become lesser and lesser, almost like fading into the background. He hops around a bit in his scenario that he puts to the accused, but also I think that is to either put him in a comfort zone that he can feel strong about certain of his evidence, and then to come back and rattle him with the real evidence.
Thank you both very much, Delia and Alex. So maybe the coup de grace on Monday or Tuesday of next week as Oscar Pistorius continues his difficult time in the witness box. Don't forget, you can join us again in court live from 8:30 London time on Monday.